2025, Tnm PLC made a profit of 21.27 billion kwacha. That's net profit from 10.05 billion kwacha a year before. This performance comes amid volatility of the economy. As if that is not enough, there are so many things that have happened in between. Hello and welcome to this special interview. My name is William Kumwembe and my guest today is Michel Herbert. He is the Chief Executive Officer for Tnm PLC. Firstly, welcome to the program.
Thank you, William. Thank you for having me here.
Looking at the 2025 summarized, audited, consolidated and separate financial statements for Tnm PLC, one thing that caught my attention, I would say, was how the company made, I would call it, a whooping 21.27 billion kwacha net profit from 10.05 billion kwacha a year before. And this comes after some 2 or 3 years of making losses. What explains the turnaround?
Actually, if you go back in history a little bit, you are correct in that Tnm was suffering some losses. In 2022 and 2023, it suffered 2 years of negative profits. But that was preceded by about 6 years or so of losing market share, losing customers, and losing sight of the customer. So we did instigate a massive turnaround, sort of beginning in 2023, but really in 2024 when we started seeing the impacts. The turnaround that we started was really, again, focusing on the basics of the business, which really means focusing on the customer and giving the customer a better experience, both with the internet and the voice, and again with Mpamba. That meant that we had to go back to the basics as well of our network, which is the underlying infrastructure providing the service. So we had to expand our network, put in better equipment, more capacity, and some new innovations that would actually give a better feel of the internet, making it faster, giving it better throughput, overall just a better customer experience. And in Mpamba at the time, like all mobile money, it was suffering as well from fraud, as this is well known. And people had lost trust in mobile money. So what Tnm did in Mpamba is that we put in some systems, new procedures, new checking verifications and so on, where people could trust Mpamba with their money. And of course we campaigned on that you can trust Mpamba. In fact, we have less than 1/10 of the fraud of any other provider out there, and with all of the systems that we have put in. So we saw that people would use Mpamba a whole lot more when they felt their money was protected. And so those are just some of the basics that we did. You can look at many other things. Our pricing was really messed up. At the time, some of the products that we launched were not giving a good experience at all to the customer. So we had to do a cleanup. And you could see that in 2024, we started gaining a lot of customers. Actually, we gained more than 1 million customers in 2024 just by doing some of these basic things, and ended up with a profit of 10 billion or so. In 2025, we went much more aggressive in that, which then doubled our profits last year. But what we added to the customer experience last year was, especially in Mpamba, was making sure that Mpamba was available everywhere, and more specifically, cash was available everywhere. So we put in our own direct logistics to be able to deliver cash to agents, to branches, and so on, so that when you, the customer, wanted to take, for example, 50,000 or 100,000 kwacha, you could go to a single agent and do that. So that was a massive logistics endeavor that we took, and we're still doing today. And you could see that Mpamba has grown. Actually, it grew last year by 77%. The year before, it grew by 90%. We've added another 1 million Mpamba users last year. We're now reaching 4 million Mpamba users now. And we had another 1 million GSM users, both voice and data. So in this kind of turnaround, with our systems focused on customer experience and our logistics and commercial, we were able actually to close the market share gap quite a bit with one of our largest rivals.
But You hinted in the statement that the microeconomic environment is expected to remain challenging, which demonstrates that you concede how challenging or volatile the environment has been for quite some time. And if I'm to quote the statement, this could put pressure on the group's operations and performance. How do you describe the operating environment?
Well, it's true that there's a lot of economic pressure out there through inflation, through the lack of foreign currencies for us as a major operator to be able to work, because we work with a lot of foreign entities in this business. It's put a lot of pressure, and it's put pressure on our customers as well. With the cost of everything rising, that means people have a little less money to spend on communications. But what we found is that internet, even voice communication services, is indispensable. People need it to live. People need it to learn, for their health, to be entertained. People need it almost as much as fuel. And so we see that the more that we provide, especially in terms of the internet, the faster we make it, the greater throughput we can give, more and more people consume it. And the other thing is that the penetration is still low. That means the number of people using internet in Malawi is still low compared to our neighboring countries. So we're at somewhere around 70% of people that have a SIM card, and only 30% of people that use the internet. Whereas if you go to Zambia, especially South Africa, they're well over 100%. So a lot of people are discovering the internet for the first time and see its use, see it's what it can do, for, again, entertaining, staying in touch, socializing. So there is still a big growing demand for internet and voice, quite frankly. On Pamba and mobile money, it's the only way to get your money around. So if you have your relatives working in a city, a big city, that wants to send money home to the village, they still need a mobile money system to do that. So we see, in fact, even as there's more inflation, even as the cost of everything going up, people have to send more money around to keep up, or so that people can live. So there's been a exponential growth in mobile money usage last year, and it's still happening this year.
How are you as a company now navigating through these moments and remaining afloat? Why I'm asking this question, you may agree with me. We are operating in an environment where there is scarcity of forex, which is one of the biggest challenges that everyone would imagine about. Recently, we took note of the elevated fuel prices, which also has driven up prices for almost everything. How is Tnm remaining afloat?
Well, in the past 2 years, we are a regulated company. The entire industry is regulated, which means we can't increase prices the way we want. So we still have to apply to MACA, the regulator, and we have done that. Actually, we've done that 4 times in the past 2 years, where we've managed to increase prices on both voice and data, and a little bit on the Pamba with the help of RBM. To try to keep up with inflation. We haven't increased as much as inflation, but we've managed to at least recover some of the costs that inflation creates, or the increasing fuel price. Now, increasing fuel price does have a major impact on Tnm. We have over 1,000 sites, actually almost 1,200 sites today, and most of them are powered by generators, diesel generators. We rely on Eskom, but given some of the instabilities, we rely a lot on generators. So we consume a massive amount of diesel. So this has affected our cost of operations now. And of course, we are trying to request price increases to sort of help keep up with these costs. And so far, Makara, the regulator, have been quite accommodating.
One of the challenges would be concerns regarding cost of mobile data already. Customers continue to lament, saying the elevated cost is affecting access to digital services. And Malawi is one of the countries within the region with high cost of mobile data. One would still want to understand the remedies to such a problem.
Yes. Well, there is this perception out there that Malawi has very expensive data. Actually, that's completely untrue. There are studies been done by the UK, various UK institutions that look at price of data, actually around the world, but they had a special focus twice in the past 2 years on Africa. And as it turns out, even when you exchange, they do this, of course, in US dollars. They compare countries based on US dollar prices. Even if you use the official exchange rate, even with the devaluations that have increased the exchange rate, Malawi is the lowest in terms of data price by far of any other country in Africa. So even with the price increases we have done, we know that it sometimes creates some hardships for some people, but we still maintain some of the lowest prices in Africa even today. Yeah. So the challenge there is worse for us as an operator because we have to get foreign currencies, especially US dollars, to be able to pay our suppliers. You know, all of this equipment, these towers, antennas, our core systems, computer systems, we buy from foreign suppliers, and of course we have to pay these in dollars. And we invest between $15 and $20 million per year in equipment. This year it's actually 31 million. So we are struggling very much to find dollars, and when we do, sometimes we have to pay more than the official rate. So this also increases our cost of operations. So we price very low, yet we buy foreign currency very high. So we're still trying to make adjustments. Now, that doesn't mean that we're just increasing prices or want to increase prices, but we also look at reducing our costs of operation. So we've done a lot of things to reduce the cost of operating. For example, as I mentioned, we take generators to power our sites. Well, we also put more than 400 solar sites on these towers. So that has lowered our cost of fuel consumption by about 30% or so. We've also implemented some technologies to be able to control how much power and when to put power on sites depending on user demand, how many people are using the internet. So we adjust the power, of course, to the demand. That's also generated an additional 10% in savings in terms of our power consumptions. So we've put a number of cost-cutting measures in other IT systems and network operations, really to lower our costs as well. So we believe that, you know, over the past 2 years, we've become a very, very efficient company.
Talking of investment, how are you striking a balance to ensure that you pump more resources in ensuring seamless and quality services that you're providing, but at the same time you're striking a balance with the existing challenges?
Yeah, it's difficult given the economic challenges. You know, the good news is we've grown a lot. We've added 3 million customers in the past 3 years. We had 3 million Apamba customers in the past 3 years. Well, that's the good news. The bad news is that puts an awful lot of pressure on our network. So we have a lot of congestion issues. Basically, if you were to compare this to a bus, the bus is full. There's no more seats available on the bus, yet there's a lot of people waiting to get on. So we have to expand our networks to accommodate this traffic, to accommodate more and more people, to get digital services. I mean, digital inclusion will only depend on us expanding our network. So this is why we're still, because that demand is still there and we still expect it to grow for the next 3 years, we are doing investments this year as best that we can.
Let's break a bit. We'll be right back. This is a special program where we are talking with the TNM PLC Chief Executive Officer, Michael Herbert, on how TNM has fared in the year 2025 and prospects going forward. My name is William Kumwembe. We'll be right back. Welcome back. This is Times and my name is William Kumwembe. Today we are speaking with Michelle Herbert, who is the Chief Executive Officer for Tnm PLC, on the performance of the company both holistically as a telco as well as on the Malawi Stock Exchange. And as we continue with the program, we want to zero in on one of the company's critical elements, the mobile money aspect. And once again, joining me is Michelle Helbert, who is the Chief Executive Officer of Tnm PLC. Welcome back. One of the key businesses or components of your business is the mobile money aspect of it, precisely Tnm Pamba. And it has registered steady growth in terms of revenue due to higher customer revenue, which grew by 77% in 2025 alone to somewhere about 51.93 billion. What would you tell of the mobile money business here in Malawi as a player in the industry?
Well, mobile money has now become an indispensable part of daily living. People need to send money around to their friends, their relatives. They need to make payments even to merchants to buy things. It's still the best and, quite frankly, the only way to move money around in Malawi. And more and more currencies, more and more movement of money is going digital. And we will see it as growing in the future. If you compare ourselves to other neighboring countries, specifically, for example, Kenya, money is 95% digital. Only 5% is actual cash that you move around. In Malawi, it's the complete opposite. It's only 5% digital and still 95% cash money that moves around. But more and more, cash is becoming electronic and staying within the ecosystem for you to make payments, for example, to Escom or to buy internet or to pay for DSTV. More and more of it now is becoming an ecosystem where everything is becoming digital and mobile money.
Is Malawi positioned to embrace fully? You gave a reference of Kenya, which is at 95% in terms of level of embrace of digital payment systems. Is Malawi, both facility-wise and economic-wise, systematically positioned and ready to embrace fully the digital spectrum?
It's getting there. So even the mobile money space, we use the very latest technology, digital technologies, to move money around and to secure the money. What people are now embracing, though, is what you can do with this money. Like, for example, we launched an innovative product called Indikanke, which means that if you don't have money right away, Tnm will lend it to you, and Pamba will lend it to you. So now you're starting to see that mobile money operators are getting into sort of banking services or financial services. We can lend money. We can make prepayments for you. We can even sell you insurance. So you're going to see the use of money, the things you can do with Pamba, growing. Not just sending money from cash from one point A to point B. So what you do with Pamba is growing quite significantly. And yes, in Malawi, this is starting to be embraced by Malawians.
But there are also growing concerns regarding what I'd call digital transactions fraud.
Yes.
How are you affected?
Well, fraud happens. But what we found is that fraud doesn't come through the systems. It's not a weakness in the system. So it's not like somebody hacks into our system and steals money. Actually, a lot of the fraud is by social engineering. And 95% of that happens from Zomba prison. So we have some prisoners who managed to get some mobile phones, and they would try to call me, call you, and try to get your PIN or try to get your password through devious means. So somebody who gives a password, even they claim they're from Tnm or they claim they're another operator and say, oh, we're just checking on your password. Can you give it to me, please, just to make sure it's valid? And unfortunately, some people do. Once you give your password, then they can get into your account. So we've been on a campaign actually to tell people, never give out your password, never give out personal information. So this is a constant reinforcement that we and others do as well. And we've seen the level of fraud actually decrease over the past 2 years, 3 years. I remember when I first joined, we're looking at fraud that was happening between 10 and 15 million kwacha per month. Now it's less than 4. It's always going to happen, but it's decreased tremendously.
The mobile aspect of money is touted by policy holders and other stakeholders as one of the key ways to achieve the financial inclusion agenda. As TNM, a player precisely in Pamba, what role have you played, or how are you playing that role of driving the financial inclusion agenda using mobile money?
Well, the financial inclusion will happen in two ways. First of all, what's still very expensive for most Malawians is the device, the gadget. So a smartphone, or even today you can use mobile money, of course, with any feature phone through USSD. Making gadgets more affordable for this market is really quite important. We are buying devices ourselves, gadgets ourselves, and trying to get them out there. We're even using other technologies called cloud phones, which means all the intelligence is in the network, not the device itself. So the device itself is less costly. We're also requesting from the government, actually they did remove the VAT on customs to try to save some money for the average consumer, to save money on the device itself. So lowering the price of the device will create more digital inclusion and financial inclusion as well. The next is to increase coverage. Basically, more and more places you can send money to. Today, we, the network operators, we cover 90%-ish of the population, somewhere around there. We're looking at moving to 95%. In other words, cover more villages and centers and farms, where the people are. As we expand the ecosystem, then you're also going to see the entire growth in mobile money happen. Today, by RBM's reports and measures, mobile money is growing far, far faster than any other form of financial service in Malawi.
Towards the end of last year, the government introduced the 0.05 levy on mobile money transfers, which applies to services such as Tnm Pamba. How has this affected the level of transactions?
Well, it's reduced the higher levels of transactions. So the levy of 0.05% is applied to transactions of 100,000 kwacha or more. But that translates to a lot of money fees, if you will, that for the large users. And through the national switch, NatSwitch, of which TNM is a member and our other banking and mobile financial companies are members, we have seen now reports that in the first quarter of this year, the number of transactions through the national switch has actually decreased. So that means fewer people are using mobile money to make transactions. So it has had an impact. And we believe that if this continues in the long term, it will restrain the growth of mobile financial services.
With such and the projections that you made mention of earlier on of Malawi being a fertile ground for financial inclusion, do you foresee a day when the country becomes fully digital in terms of financial transactions?
Oh, absolutely. Because it's happening all around the world, and it's happening in Malawi as well. The Western world, the European world, has moved almost 100% now in digital financial service. People don't walk around with cash anymore. When I travel, I go to Europe or North America or even the Middle East, I don't carry cash. You can pay everything through your mobile phone, everything from your bank account or your wallet, your digital wallet. As I've mentioned, in Kenya, it's 95%, meaning you don't see cash anymore. People are using their devices for all of their financial transactions and their financial needs, all their needs. Whether that be borrowing or sending money or paying for anything, it's all done now through the mobile phone. It's all digital. And as mentioned before, we're seeing exponential growth of transactions in Malawi as well. So it's just a matter of time until Malawi also becomes 100% digital in financial services.
When, as we're drawing closer to the end, when you sit behind your desk as one of the, as a CEO of one of the top telcos in the country, I like it because I'm seated very close to a window that is wide open and you see the sky right here in your office. When you see through that window, what do you see in the future?
Well, first of all, it's a beautiful view. So We're here in Blantyre. We're looking at the surrounding mountains, and it's absolutely beautiful. And you know what? That's actually what's inspiring me about the future. That Malawi itself, as a beautiful country with warm people, has a very bright future, despite its economic difficulties. Perhaps it's got a little bit more difficulties than others, but I see Malawians fighting every day. I see the resilience that's here in the community and in the culture. And quite frankly, this is what gives me hope that there is a very bright future there for Malawi, and there is.
How systematically positioned is TNM in shaping that bright future?
We're leading the way. It's as simple as that. We are constantly bringing in the latest technologies. We are now moving into AI in mobile money and in banking services. We're with our partners. We are bringing whatever they develop here in Malawi first. Again, in TNM's 30-year history, we're the first with 1G, if you want to go back that far, 2G, 3G, 4G, 5G. We were the first to bring in these technologies. We're actually even the first to bring in mobile money. And this is part of our culture. It's part of our ethos. It's who we are. And that is going to continue. We are going to take the best of what the world has to offer in terms of technology and innovation and make it accessible to Malawians. And that's why I believe, and so far, everything that we've brought has been very well embraced. So we think, and I think specifically, that there's a bright future for everything digital, everything financial in Malawi.
When all is said and done, I would say last but not the least, what would be your message to stakeholders? You are listed on the Malawi Stock Exchange. There are shareholders who have a particular interest on how the company is faring. You are a key player in the telecom industry now, even in the mobile money services industry. You have so many stakeholders. When all is said and done, what would be your message?
Absolutely, that's a very good question. Look, TNM has more than 15,000 Malawian investors that own shares in TNM. Some of the biggest companies in Malawi own shares in TNM, including Old Mutual, Press Corporation, Nico. We are 100% Malawian-owned company. All the money that we make here in Malawi stays in Malawi and goes back to Malawi and goes back into the pension funds, our own, and goes to, of course, all the others that are doing pensions here in Malawi. So we have a lot of pressure and expectations from these stakeholders. What I can say is that the turnaround that we began late 2023, 2024 has now taken hold, is well anchored in 2025. We've proven that by doubling our profits, by growing by 40-50% each year, and that will continue. So again, the future is extremely bright. So I believe that the stakeholders, the shareholders, should really believe in TNM. And in fact, because of our success so far in the past 2 years, especially last year, we are now giving out dividends, something that was stopped about 4 or 5 years ago. And so now our shareholders can expect dividends going forward. They can expect to share in the future, the bright future of TNM. That's my message. Believe in us and you'll be rewarded.
Believe in us and you'll be rewarded. Michelle, what a way of parting ways. It's been a pleasure talking to us here on Times. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, William. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. That's how we wrap up this special edition of an interview with TNM PLC Chief Executive Officer, Michelle Helbert, with whom we're discussing various issues to do with the company itself and the telecom industry and the future in as far as growth is concerned. Once again, my name is William Kumwembe. Thank you for being there. Bye for now.
Ndipo leo tikuuze iwaya Bison ni tukutuku
koma nkuche ifunika kukhululwa kwanje kuti objectivity yanu cannot be questioned. mene yes mene mukunenera tonsefe timakhala mwina ndi mbali imene timatsamira komano sitimafuna kuti mpaka namwina ziziwika koma iniyo manena ivi ndikuyambira kunja timakhala mukuyankhula ndi anthu aku DPP kusonyeza kuti anthu aku DPP amaziwa kuti uyo ngwathu so influence yomakuuzani kuti ankhuche pamene muyankhulepo chanja mwina so mukamaliza kuyankhulako makachita report kuti amaona amene ayankhulira pamene paja imenecho sichitheka anthu aja mwachita bwino how can we trust your objectivity when you're coming here to admit kuti you've always been DPP all along?
Kupanga trust objectivity kwambiri zitengera anthu momwe amamva ndikamati ndikuyikapo mlomo pa zinthu zochitika mdziko muno kuti kodi ndikachinena is it nthawi zonse chimakhala kuti chikubakira DPP